Hi everyone, this is Anushka and welcome back to my channel A in Economist. So in the previous video we have started with frequency distribution and I have also mentioned what is the importance of frequency distribution and why it is used, right? We have also discussed the definition. Today we will be starting off with the classification of frequency distribution. Now if you have seen my types of data video, then you will know that data that is used by the statistician is majorly of two types. One is attribute, another one is variable. So frequency distribution is constructed according to the types of data. So the first classification is frequency distribution of an attribute and the second would be frequency distribution of a variable. Now under variable you have two further classifications. First is frequency distribution of a discrete variable and second is frequency distribution of a continuous variable. If you haven't seen my types of data video, I will give the link in the description. You can check that out. Now let us start with the first type of frequency distribution, that is frequency distribution of an attribute. Suppose you have this data with you. Let us read the description. Data collected by XYZ Medical Research Organization shows that in the month of April there are 18 female births and 22 male births in the city hospital. Suppose you have this data and this data is in textual format, right? It is in textual format. And now as a statistician, what you want to do, you want to formally arrange it in a tabular fashion. So what would you do? Give a suitable title. Here I have written the sex of infants born in city hospital. Now on the left hand side, what you have to do, you have to write the variable under concern, that is the gender or the sex of the child, right? It could be either female or it could be male. And on the right hand side, what you have to do, you have to mention the frequency. Frequency means the number of births in April 2022. So as you know, 18 female births and 22 male births. So you can put these numbers here. And on the bottom row, what you have to do, you have to count the total and write. So this is the way in which a frequency table is written. So on the left hand side, you have to write the variable under concern and its types. And on the right hand side, you have to write the corresponding frequency. And since it is attribute type of data, so it is gender. Gender is attribute type of data. You can't numerically express this female and males, right? So you could only count the frequency according to which they occur in the data set. And lastly, you have to mention the total number of counts. This would be an example of frequency distribution of attribute. This is how you construct it. Now what happens if you consider frequency distribution of a discrete variable? Again, take this data. Here the discrete variable under concern is the family size, right? A survey was performed in a locality in Calcutta and the following data relating to the number of members in different families are recorded. And this is the data set that we are taking into account. So it is the number of members in different families in Calcutta. So if you are given this data set as a statistician, you will not be able to derive any insights from this, right? So this is very messy in format and you just by looking at the data set, you can't infer anything from this. So what you have to do, you again have to construct a tabular format to express this data in an orderly fashion. That is the reason why we use frequency distribution, to arrange the data set, this messy looking data set, in an orderly way. So for that you have to follow certain steps. What could be the possible steps? First, find out what is the lowest value in the data set. Find out, just observe this data and find out the lowest value. Here you will see the lowest value will be 2. Similarly, find out the highest value that is there in the data set. What is the highest value? Observe this data and you will see that 7 is the highest value. Now that we know the lowest value and the highest value, we know the range. What is the range? The range of the data set is 2 to 7. Range is just the difference in the data. So range is also a statistical measure that we'll see in the measure of dispersion chapter. But as of now, you know that the data in your data set varies from 2 to 7. And the third thing that you need to know is what are the different data points. So here 2 is a data point, then you have 3, then you have 4, then you have 5, then you have 6, and you have 7. So you have 2 to 7, all the data points are there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? All these data points. So you have to know what is the lowest value, what is the highest value, and what are the different data points available in the discrete data set. If you have these informations, then you are able to perform something called the tally mark estimation. What is that? On the left hand side you have the family size, and we have seen that you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the values here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Just write it as it is, and then you have to find out the tally marks. How to construct tally marks? For tally marks you have to see how many 2's are there, or how many 3's are there, or how many 4's are there. Tally mark is just for counting the frequency, nothing else, right? So suppose here, how many 2's are there? You want to know how many 2's are there. So here you have 1, 2, right? Here you have another 2, another 2. So just count how many 2's are there in the data set. And where else? Here you have 2, here you have 2, right? Here no more, right? So how many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Any other 2's? Am I missing? Yeah, there is another 2 here. So altogether you have 9 2's, right? Now if you want to explain it with the help of this tally marks, what would you do? Tally marks is constructed like this. You put 1, 2, 3, 4, and for the fifth count you have to cross it down. So whenever you see this cross, it means that it is 5, count of 5, or the frequency is 5. Total is 9, so you put another 4 marks, right? So altogether you have 9 2's, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So from the data set you see that there are 9 2's, and to write it formally here you will construct the tally mark like this. Now we can do the same thing for all these family sizes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me show you another one using 3. Let me take another color. Yeah. So for 3 you have 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, here, right? In this way you have to find out all the 3's in your data set. I have deliberately taken a long data set so that it will give you more clarity. So just do this. Now here I am first highlighting the entire 3's and or the data points, and then putting it in the tally mark. But usually what statisticians do is that they take one value. Suppose you find 3 here, then you simply go to the table and put a mark here, right? So here suppose you see this 3 here, then you go to the table and put a mark here. Then you see another 3 in your table and you put a mark here. So in this way it makes the counting more easy, right? It makes the counting more easy. So let's see how many 3's are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 23's are there. This is 5, so you have to do this total 4 times, right? 4 times you have to do this. So this is 5, 5, 5, 5. So this will give you 20. Now for the rest of the data, I don't want to go into this again. I have the book with me, so I will write the values directly. So for 4 you have 30 observations or 30 frequencies. So do this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 into 5 is 30. Now for 5 you have 17 observations, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. For 6 you have 10 observations, so 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. And for 7 you have 4 observations, so 1 2 3 4. So in this way you are able to construct the tally marks. And what is the benefit of constructing tally marks? From looking at this you can find out the total frequency. So here you have 5 and here you have 4, so total frequency is 9. So your ultimate purpose was to construct this frequency distribution, where one side you will have the family size or the variable under concern, and on the other side you have to write the corresponding frequencies. So from the tally mark you can write the frequencies. So here you have 9, here you have 20, here you have 30, here you have 17, then you have 10, and here you have 4. That is what I have written here, and this will be your frequency distribution for discrete variable. Now statisticians use something called the relative frequency. So relative frequency is just an alternative of frequency. So when you are writing only frequency, you are mentioning the absolute value, that there are 9 families who have only 2 members in their family, right? So the family size 2 has 9 such families, and altogether you have 90 families. So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is here you have to also write the total number. If you add them, this will turn out to be 90. So you have altogether 90 families, and if you just simply add them you will get 90. So frequency represents the absolute value. For family size 2 you will have 9 families here. But what about relative frequency? Relative frequency will tell you that there are 9 families out of 90 families together, right? So in the relative sense you will know what is the frequency of this family size. Similarly for 3 you have 20 families out of 90. Here you have 30 families out of 90, 17 families out of 90, 10 families out of 90, and 4 families out of 90. If you add them you will get 1. So the cross checking method of relative frequency is that just add them. If you get 1, then you have correctly written it, right? So in the relative sense you will say that you have 9 families out of 90 families which have a family size of 2. So if you want to have the relative write the frequency in the relative sense, you will have this is another measure. Sometimes statisticians don't even consider this frequency column, and they just take into account the relative frequency terms because they are more statistically important. And finally we'll see something called the cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency answers the question like how many families are there with 4 members or less, or how many members are there with 5 members or more. But I have exceeded my video time, so I don't want to make this video longer than this. Let's do this in the next session. And if you find this video helpful, give me a like, and I hope I am adding some value in your curriculum. So give me a like and do subscribe to my channel, and let's meet you in the next video.